Why did the mountain fail? Wait, how do I want to? Why did the mountain fail its test?
I don't know.
Because it was caught having a peek at its classmates' test.
That's cute.
Because of like the mountain.
It has a peak.
Because of the peak.
A for originality.
So yeah, today's story is another mountain survival story.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
And not local.
Not local.
Related to our July road trip?
Yeah.
Is it Katahdin?
It is.
Yes.
So you actually do know this story. It's the story of Donn Fendler.
I know this story?
Yeah, we've listened to some podcasts about it before.
Is the child?
Yeah, the 12-year-old that went missing in 1939.
Yes. Okay.
So you do know this story.
Yeah.
But I was drawn to it myself because I was at least in a much smaller capacity. I was in his exact position.
Yeah.
Not his exact position, but I was
No.
also a lost boy on the mountain.
A little older.
Yeah. So I do feel a little bit of a connection to it in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I was definitely drawn to it as far as that goes. So yeah, I mean, I've climbed Katahdin twice.
Yeah.
I did it once solo. This would be 2023. I had to go down to Maryland for work, and I could have flown, but I was like, no, we'll drive because I'd never been to the US before.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's so close.
I know, it just never been. So I was like, yeah, it'd be cool to go and actually have an experience.
Yeah.
But I told the story like 2 episodes ago. I think when you told your story of mountain survival.
I did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So I'll tell it briefly again. But basically, Katahdin was on my bucket list for a long time. So I decided I would do it on my drive down. And I was very, very young in my hiking career. First of all, I mean, okay, so I was just like extremely unprepared. I brought literally like 500 milliliters of water for like a full day of hiking.
Yeah.
Like no snacks or anything. I was just it hurts to think about now, but it's fine.
Well, I guess it's not a full day of hiking.
I mean, it can be. It depends on what you do. Because there's like a million different options.
But the way that you're doing it, was it a full day?
Yep. Because I went up the A-Ball Trail to Baxter Peak, and then I went down the Hunt Trail.
Okay.
So it was a much longer route than... Because when we did it...
We did the shortest one.
Yeah, we went up and down the A-Ball Trail.
Yeah.
And we also did it really fast because we had to be somewhere that afternoon.
Yeah.
So basically, once you get past the tree line, there's not like a trail, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's essentially just like paintings, like paint markers on the rocks.
Yeah.
And they're like relatively easy to lose, especially if
we lost it once.
Yeah. Like,
other than like if we hadn't had all trails, I think we would have got a little off route there for a second.
Yeah, so I got off track at one point. I just lost the markers, and then I was just along the side of this mountain, and it was just like a sheer drop.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think this is where I'm supposed to be. So, yeah, and sure enough, there were like no markers to be seen anywhere around me.
Yeah.
So I look way back down the mountain, and I see this couple coming up, and I'm like, I'm just going to climb down to them and follow them from there. So I like precariously made my way down to where they were, ended up doing the rest of the hike with them. Lovely people, had a great day together. But it just goes to show, even in 2023, on a beautiful summer day, how easy it is to get slightly off track. Yeah, that's kind of my little Katahdin story. Then, of course, we did it together, too. We had plans to do the Knife's Edge Trail.
Yeah, which we'll do one day.
Yeah, 100%. We just got rained out on our original day. And then, so we had to push the whole hike back a day. But then because of that, we had plans for later that day. So we had to just like speed run that mountain, basically. And
yeah, but it was a good like little intro. It was good to see like what that Knife's Edge looks like.
So yeah, without further ado, want to hear the story of Donn Fendler?
Yes.
So it was a cold, misty day in 1939 when 12-year-old Donn Fendler finally saw Katahdin's summit reveal itself through the clouds. Despite the long, challenging climb, he was freezing. And when he reached the peak, The fog had closed in on him entirely. Disappointment swept over Donn. All that hard work was for nothing. Donn's party for this ascent included his father Donald, his two brothers Tom and Ryan, and his friends Fred Eden and Henry Condon. Donn and Henry had led the group for most of the hike, and they had reached the summit long before anyone else. But then, like a ghost in the mist, a figure appeared on what was a knife's edge trail, a ridge connecting Baxter Peak and the neighboring Pomola Peak. As they watched the man approach, Donn noticed how cold he was. His teeth were chattering from the harsh Katahdin wind and fog. Oh, and by the way, I should give, for once, credit to my sources.
Yeah.
This whole thing comes from the book Lost on a Mountain in Maine, which is a memoir from Donn Fendler himself.
And there's a movie, I think.
There is a movie, yeah, I think it came out 2024.
Yeah.
So that'd be a great watch, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so obviously this is like me taking what he said, then putting it in my own words so that I can read it. But like this is his account.
Yeah.
You with me so far? Misty day, can't see anything on the summit. He's very cold. Saw a person approaching. Well, at this point, Donn urged Henry to move, to hike back down to the rest of the group where his father was. But Henry insisted on waiting until the unknown man reached them. Henry knew Katahdin better than Donn and the risks involved even on a good day. But now he knew the safest thing to do was to have an adult accompany them, even if it was a stranger. Donn, however, refused to wait. And in a kind-hearted move that he would later regret, he gave Henry his sweater that he had on under his fleece-lined jacket. "That will keep you warm while you wait, but I'm going back down," he said. But before Donn had even gone a dozen yards, Henry was obscured from his vision. He climbed down in the direction that he thought he had come, but he immediately noticed things didn't look how he remembered them. But he chalked this up to the worsening conditions and the fact that things always kind of look different when you're going back.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so they're 12.
Yeah.
But how old is Henry? Do we know?
I didn't look up his age specifically, but I'd imagine they're all around the same ballpark. Okay. Yeah. Donn didn't truly start to panic until he reached what he thought was a plateau between the Hunt Trail and Baxter Peak, where once he reached this point, he couldn't find any trail markers. So it's kind of, if you haven't hiked Katahdin or seen Katahdin, this is where like a brief overview of what the mountain looks like would come in handy. So basically, I mean, there's several different trails that take you up the mountain. The first bit of the mountain comes up the sides, which are very, very steep. And then, oh gosh, I don't know what elevation you hit the plateau, but basically, once you've climbed the majority of the mountain, you hit this big plateau that's on the top. And then from there, it's like a gradual couple kilometers hike to the actual peak. So your steep ascent is the first like 80%, then you hit the plateau, and then it's a more gradual hike to the summit. So yeah, so he had hit this plateau, and this is where he felt the first bit of panic after he couldn't find any trail markers.
Which is fair.
At this point, on top of the mist and the wind, sleet had begun to fall, and he could feel the water start to soak through his clothing. He thought about sitting down and waiting for someone to come, either Henry or his dad, but quickly realized if he wanted to survive, he had to move and stay warm. He kept walking, but suddenly, a dense section of bush that he was walking on top of gave way to a deep hole underneath. He fell through, but managed to grab a root to stop himself before landing on the jagged rocks at the bottom of the hole. He slowly pulled himself out back to safety, but it was here that madness seemed to overtake him momentarily. In a moment of panic, he ran back the way he came, screaming and eventually breaking down into tears. He heard an eerie sound in the air, a high-pitched moan that seemed to circle around him. He thought of Pomola, an evil being from indigenous folklore that lived on the mountaintop. And while he knew that, like, realistically, this was like the wind through the trees or maybe like a cave or cracks in the rocks.
He just went like straight to like evil being.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
Oh, I mean, and he made a note in his book too. He was like, it's just funny where your mind goes in these situations.
Yeah, you kind of panic and then you just kind of like let it take over.
Yeah, 100%.
So where was his dad?
So they had taken the Hunt Trail up.
Oh, okay.
So his dad was still coming up that trail.
Oh, so he was just ahead.
Yeah, like him and Henry had reached the summit way before their group.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So and that's why Donn was like, we should go back down
Yeah.
to where they are.
Okay.
And Henry was like, I don't want to move until we have this adult with us who we don't know. But even then,
Yeah.
better to have an adult in these worsening conditions. He eventually sat down, out of breath from running. He thought of his scout training and remembered that the best thing you can do in these situations is to stay calm. He kept on, and miraculously, ahead of him, he saw a trail marker. When he got closer, he saw that it read the Saddle Trail, but Donn was hesitant. He had heard that the trail was dangerous and ultimately decided to hike along it from the sides, using it to navigate while not actually walking on the trail itself.
Which one's Saddle Trail?
So Saddle Trail is
I thought a Knife's Edge was the scary one.
I found that kind of funny reading that, because today, so Saddle Trail starts like at the back end of the mountain, like Chimney Pond.
Yeah.
And I think today it's pretty much the easiest route up.
Yeah.
But I think back then, where like I'm not exactly sure where the trails were at this point as far as development and like how often they were hiked.
Yeah.
But he brought up like how the Saddle Trail was infamous for like landslides or like rock slides.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Things like that. And I didn't totally understand his logic of not following the trail itself. Kind of like,
he's just like, I'm just going to go beside it.
Yeah. What he said was working off of it at right angles.
Oh.
And I was like trying to picture that in my head. I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm sure it made sense to him at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And what is a tragic turn of events, if he had just followed the trail down, he would have come to a camp pretty quick that was actually inhabited that night.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that would have been the end of the story.
Yeah. But that's not what happened.
No, not even close.
Oh, no.
Well, after crawling under and over bushes and boulders for an unknown amount of time and getting increasingly cold, cut, and bruised, he finally saw another trail marker. But as he approached it, his heart sank. He recognized a mark on the sign from before. He had somehow come full circle.
Oh, my goodness. No. I don't even know how you do that. I guess if you don't follow the trail.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, as a 27-year-old man, I would have a panic attack.
Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine.
12 years old.
Yeah.
Like, that's so young. He knew all he could do at this point was go down. So he slowly made his way down the mountain, eventually reaching the tree line. And the lower he climbed, the more the trees grew and the forest floor opened up, making navigating a little bit easier. But night was quickly falling, and Donn was exhausted. That night, he slept on a bed of moss that he made at the base of a large tree and cried himself to sleep, thinking of his parents and the warm bed that was waiting for him back at camp.
That's so sad.
There are so many moments in the story where he just describes how he would just break down into tears.
Aww.
And it's like, it's so heartbreaking because he goes from like doing everything he can to just hold himself together and think about this clearly. Yeah. And then he'll just like, he's doing his best, but then he just keeps having these breakdowns. And it's just, I just want to hug him. When he awoke the next morning, he forgot where he was for a moment. But then the reality sunk in and he remembered everything that happened the day before and where he was. But then when his eyes adjusted, he noticed something amazing. Just down the hill from where he slept, on the other side of a brook, there was a large stump. And at the top of the stump, poking out at the top, was the head of his friend Henry.
Like still attached, right?
Yeah, still attached. Sorry. Well, it was actually like the way he described it was really creepy, where he was behind the stump and the stump was kind of obscured Henry's body, but it looked like his head was just sitting on top of the stump.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And he had this terrified look in his face, like Henry did.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, why is Henry still out there?
So Donn called out and tried to stand, but something had happened to his legs. They seemed to be frozen in place. He watched Henry, who himself looked terrified. Donn followed his eyes downhill and saw why. There were 4 men in white cloaks, arms outstretched, pointing at him. But then a man on a black horse rode through the clearing, followed by a black automobile, which Henry assumed his dad must have sent.
Is he dreaming? He has to be dreaming.
Donn jumped up out of excitement, stumbled through the brook and up the riverbank on the other side. But when he looked up again, everybody was gone.
Okay, so it was a dream.
Donn was hallucinating. The cold, hunger, and injuries were far worse than he had thought. But once again, he remembered what he learned in Scouts. Keep your head, and you'll be all right. Something else he had learned in Scouts came to him too. That when you're lost, just follow water downstream. It will lead to bigger streams, and there are always camps on the bigger streams. He walked shoeless downstream since his feet had swollen to the point where he couldn't put his shoes back on. And that's when he had to face his next challenge, the black flies. By the time he had stopped to rest that afternoon, his hands, face, and legs were so red that he looked like he had measles covering his entire body.
Oh, ew.
We had
Really bad flies in
bad
Brunswick.
flies in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Like a week before our Katahdin hike.
Yeah, but there was nothing.
It was nothing. We were there
know.
for like 2 nights or 3 nights.
Yeah, no, it was perfect.
I don't know how that's possible. Midsummer, there were no bugs.
I know.
Someone explain who understands bugs in Maine. Food, of course, was the other issue. He was starving, and the things that he could hypothetically eat were just out of reach. He saw lots of berries, but he remembered his father saying never to eat wild berries unless you're absolutely sure what they are.
That's fair.
He also watched trout swim in the stream when he stopped to rest, but how was he supposed to catch them, never mind actually eat them? But just before darkness set in, he found a big patch of strawberries. He dropped to all fours like a bear and ate as much as he could. That night, it rained heavily. He cried from the cold, unable to fall back asleep. But he found a large, hollow tree, big enough for him to curl up inside of. It was warm and dry, and he thanked God for being so good to him. Which is just like that perspective of just everything's going so wrong, and the smallest luxury just seems like the biggest godsend.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's just so funny because it's like you're lost in the middle of the backcountry, and just finding a hollow tree is a miracle.
Yeah, and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky. It's like, really? Are you?
On day 3, he continued to wade downstream, which was now a significant size. He reached a part of the stream where he had to make a decision. He had come to some white water. The sides of the stream were steep with dense bush, and he thought his best bet was to climb up a giant boulder beside the river and jump to another rock on the other side. Once at the top, he decided to throw his pants across first, pants which he had not worn since the night of day 1 due to how cold and frozen they were. And in one of the pockets was a large heavy stone that he had carried all the way from the summit as a souvenir for his mother.
Oh, that's so sweet. And he's still carrying it.
Yeah, this is day 3. And it's now a full-on survival situation. He's still carrying
He's let me just have this rock so that my mom can remember the day that I was lost.
Yeah, she'd be like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
So he threw his pants across to the other rock, but watched in dismay as they tumbled down the rock to the white water below.
Oh no.
Disappearing below the surface. He was now without pants and shoes, which he had lost on day 2 in the stream.
So he's just in his underwear.
He's in his underwear, no shoes.
That's horrible.
And it's really funny because it goes to show the mentality of a kid that age, where throughout this whole thing, he never gave up hope that help was going to be right around the corner. And this moment was no different. He was like, yeah, we're going to turn the bend in the stream. There's going to be a camp. Yeah. And when his pants disappeared into the river, he wasn't worried about immediately his mind went to this is so embarrassing. I'm going to have to ask for help.
Oh no.
Without pants on, and they're just going to laugh at me. That's where his mind went immediately.
That's sweet.
That night, as he lay down for sleep, he heard footsteps come up behind him. He lay motionless and watched as a deer walked down to the stream beside him. He must have made a noise as the deer turned and stared at him. The deer came in for a closer look, staring at him with wide, curious eyes until they were almost face to face. Donn had the thought of throwing a rock at the deer to kill it and eat it, but he ultimately decided that the comfort that the deer brought him in that moment far outweighed his need for food.
I also you're not just gonna kill it. I get he's a child, but you're not just gonna kill the deer by throwing a rock at it. It's gonna take a little bit more than that. Also, how are you gonna cook it?
Yeah, that's the same issue with the trout where you can't really. But listen, it would take a shocking. I wouldn't have to.
Trout is a little easier to eat than a deer.
I know. I'm just saying it wouldn't take much for me to have that thought too. I would do this on the same day I got lost.
Oh, 100%. You'd be 1 hour in, you'd be like, well, it's time for my next meal.
I'd be the slightest bit of discomfort. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking up the steer. But this would be far from the last of his animal encounters, as the next morning he had his scariest one yet.
A bear.
Yep. Good guess.
I don't know what other animals live in Maine, so.
Moose, coyotes.
Oh, yeah, coyote. Do moose live there?
Oh, big time moose country.
Oh, really?
Big time. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Maine backcountry. Lots of moose. Well, he continued to make his way down the stream and found another strawberry patch. And as he was eating, he came face to face with a bear who was doing the same thing. Both of them were so involved in their strawberries that neither of them noticed each other.
That's so cute.
So the bear and him were just on all fours eating these strawberries.
Like, nom, nom, nom.
I like to imagine they like touch noses and they looked up and they're like, "Oh, hey!"
Like a little Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when the black bear saw him, it stood up on its hind legs and screamed like a human out of fright. And before Donn knew it, the bear had jumped across the river and was watching him from the other side.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know.
He said, "What are you doing here?"
And the bear's like, "What are you?" Well, the rest of that morning played out like all the others, getting eaten alive by black flies, praying to God to help him get out of there, and to not let his parents worry too much. And last of all, to do something about his feet that now barely had any skin left on them.
Gross.
It gets worse.
Oh, God.
But that afternoon, after having a rest, he found an old road. He could tell it hadn't been used for quite some time, as there was no signs of any human activity, whether that be tracks or footprints. But he knew that it had to lead somewhere, so he followed it until night fell. Donn slept long and hard that night, well into the next day. He was asked after the fact about like how he felt starting every day. Like, were you happy to make it through another night? And he was like, actually, the nights were pretty much my favorite part because I could just curl up and sleep and dream.
Yeah.
And when you woke up, that's when you like get to face the reality. You had a full day of suffering ahead of you. Every step he took made him yell out in pain. But he was encouraged that morning by a chipmunk that had followed him for quite a while, chattering constantly.
Oh. It's like a Disney movie, actually.
I know. He's literally like a little Disney princess out there. And that is something he recalled after the fact, too, is like the relationships he would build with animals while he was out there. I almost wonder if they can sense he followed this road for quite a while, and eventually it came to a clearing. And there in the middle, he saw a cabin. But as he got closer, he could clearly see that it had been abandoned for quite some time. The door nearly fell off the hinges when he tried to open it. It's important to remember, too, I mean, we have a Katahdin map right over there. But if we were to open that up, you would basically have like the front of Katahdin where most of the campgrounds are and like the main roads coming in. That's here. Then you have Katahdin. Yeah. And then to the north of Katahdin, it's backcountry until you get to Quebec, essentially.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It like this wilderness is massive.
Yeah.
So just because he found a cabin back in that wilderness doesn't mean anything.
And this was 1930s too, so it's like probably even less so.
Exactly, even less developed, and for all he knows, he could be walking further, like away from everything, right? So the cabin offered him momentary, like temporary comfort, but he knew that ultimately it didn't mean anything.
Oh.
And this is another moment that just goes to show how sweet of a kid he was. He thought about starting a fire with some materials he found at the camp, but thought back to signs he saw on Katahdin warning not to have fires due to wildfires. No. So he's on day 5 of the survival mission.
And he's like, no, I can't have a fire.
Just this, to be fair, this would be kind of you out there.
Oh, 100%. I'd be like, no. The rules said.
I'd rather die than break a rule. So instead of starting a fire, he decided to take a blanket from the cabin. But as he picked it up, there's a large mouse grasping it as hard as it could from underneath. So this is another Disney princess.
That is funny, moment. But also like terrifying in the moment, but like kind of funny.
Well, Donn felt bad for taking the mouse's warmth and also felt bad. I know, he's so cute.
Oh, he actually is a Disney princess.
He is. He felt so bad for taking the mouse's blanket, but also for stealing something that wasn't his. He was worried that his dad might get mad at him.
I don't think so.
I think his dad has bigger concerns at this point. Well, with his blanket, he continued down the road until yet another night came. He had a great sleep with his new blanket, as he was able to finally get some feeling back in his feet from the warmth. And for the first time in days, his body was protected from all the bugs.
Oh, yes, that's nice.
He slept so well that he slept through pretty much all of the next day, day 6. When he got up, his legs were covered in sunburns from lying in the sun all day. He spent the remaining daylight walking down the road and eventually came across a telephone wire attached to the tree. He danced and cried, thinking now he was definitely on the right path. On the morning of day 7, he awoke to a hum in the air. It was search planes overhead. He knew they must have been there looking for him because of how low they were flying. He began running around the trail, trying to find some kind of clearing where a pilot would be able to see him, but he didn't have any luck.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
that's horrible.
I just feel so bad for this kid.
Yeah.
He's so strong though. Like, this is a week out here now.
Yeah, with no, like, anything, really.
He's eaten strawberries and drank water.
He doesn't have pants.
No pants, no shoes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Later that day, he had to make another big decision. He reached a point where the road left the stream, so he could either follow the road and the telephone wire one way, or stick with his original philosophy of following the stream downstream.
Yeah, well, that's a tough choice.
What would you do in this situation?
Telephone pole.
Really?
Yeah.
Me too, I think.
I don't know how many cars there are, but like if there's a road.
Yeah, I don't think there are cars back here. When he first described how there weren't any signs of human activity on this road, he brought up like how there were no signs of like horses or carriage or anything like that. Yeah. So I don't think it was quite car worthy.
Yeah.
So you say you're going.
Yeah.
You're going road.
I know that you're getting rid of the water, but also like, who knows where else you're gonna go? At least you're going somewhere maybe more developed.
Yeah.
Whereas like
100%.
Woods, you just be going into more woods.
Yeah, like he's obviously a very bright kid.
Yeah.
But you think back to the Saddle Trail and you're like, man.
Yeah.
If you was followed that down.
Oh yeah.
Even with the hazard of a rock slide.
Yeah.
Well, he ultimately decided to follow the water.
Oh.
As it had been quite a while since he had found another water source. Mm-hmm. And that combined with what he had learned in Scouts about following water downstream.
Yeah.
He decided to stick with the stream.
I mean, like if you have one thing that's working for you, might as well stick to it, I guess.
Yeah, and another thing that he had brought up actually was how there were a lot of like blowdowns from storms and stuff, like large sections of trees that were taken down.
Yeah.
So he was worried about finding that if he had followed the road and losing his way.
Yeah.
Well, he quickly missed how easy it was walking on an actual road, and several bad falls later, including one that was so severe that he actually worried about drowning, he laid down to rest for another night. This would conclude his first week in the wilderness. The morning of day 8, he had another bad fall in the stream. But this time, when he got up, he was covered head to toe in leeches.
Oh, no.
Do leeches bother you more than ticks?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I always thought ticks bother you more. But no, you're saying leeches?
Oh.
I mean, same. There's something just about how greasy they are and like... when they're on you,
oh my God, stop. I've also had to deal with more ticks.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, I think you get desensitized.
To ticks?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like, I've had so many childhood experiences where you have a leech on you.
Oh my God, please stop.
And
you keep talking and I'm just going to plug my ear.
And you can't pull them off.
Oh my God, I can still hear you.
Because they're so
oh my God.
And it's just like stuck on your skin. And you're like, get off. And then it's just like slipping your fingers. Sorry.
I can still hear. Sorry, Nisa. Go back to sleep.
Well, just like you, he lost his mind for a moment, jumping around and yelling as he ripped these bloodsuckers off of him. Well, soon after that, his luck turned. He had found another trail. It was on this trail that he had another bad fall. He landed hard and lay on the ground, feeling too weak to get up. As he lay there and waited, he felt someone pick him up from behind. As he was lifted back to his feet, he turned, expecting to see someone, but he was alone. Donn recalls how throughout this whole ordeal, it felt like there was someone watching over him, like a guardian angel. And he talked about how it kept him going in times like these. Later that day, as he continued down the trail past more abandoned cabins, he noticed something. Part of one of his big toes was gone. Not just cut, but actually severed from his foot.
Oh, disgusting.
And blood was coming out quickly. His feet were so numb throughout this whole trip, just from the pain and cold, that he didn't even notice losing a whole part of his toe. Oh my gosh.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but
That night, he curled up inside a gunny sack, which he had found along the trail, which he actually credits to saving his life, finding this sack. Do you know what a gunny sack is?
No.
It's like a burlap sack situation. By the morning of day 9, he was at his wit's end. He pushed on, but with every fall and tumble, he felt less and less likely to get up. But finally, at long last, he saw open water ahead. He had reached the east branch of the Penobscot River, and there on the other side was a log cabin. At first, he feared that it might be abandoned like all the others, but then he saw a man emerge. Donn jumped up on the log and began screaming. The man, along with several others, jumped in a canoe and began paddling towards him. It was at this moment that Donn knew that he was finally saved. The next thing he knew, a man was picking him up and putting him in the canoe. Donn made sure to grab his gunny sack. He wanted to keep it forever, as it had saved his life that previous night. The cabin belonged to Mr. and Mrs. McMorn. Authorities were alerted that the lost boy on the mound had been found, and Miss McMorn brought him some soup. Donn, who was 74 pounds before getting lost, was now 58. He had lost 16 pounds over the 9 days. And despite everything, when he finally got medical attention, doctors remarked on how well his body had actually held up. So now we'll rewind back to Henry and that mysterious man on top of the mountain.
Kind of forgot about Henry.
I know. Well, that man was a reverend named Charles Austin. The two of them made their way back down to Donn's father and the other boys. And when they got there, they soon realized that Donn was missing. They searched the plateau until night fell, at which point they climbed back down and alerted the rangers. The search over the following days became the largest in Maine's history, with hundreds searching the Katahdin backcountry. Planes and bloodhounds were brought in, all to no avail. As the days passed, people began to assume Donn was dead, but his father never gave up hope and persuaded anyone he would talk to keep looking. Folks across the country were captivated as the search made national headlines. Donn later received the Army and Navy Legion of Valor Medal from President Roosevelt, and parades were held in his honor. Later in life, Donn went on to study forestry in Maine and later served in the military. He made sure to come back to Maine every summer and eventually retired there. Despite this whole ordeal, he always loved Baxter State Park. You would be hard-pressed to find anyone in Millinocket over 30 who has not met him personally and heard his story firsthand at a school assembly. And that's something he would do every year. He would come back and tell his story in schools.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Donn Fendler passed away in 2016 at the age of 90. Maine has named July 25th, the day he was found, Donn Fendler Day.
Oh, that's
the story.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Were we there July 20? No. We were there at the
beginning. Gosh. Wow, that would have been close. I didn't even think about that.
We went there the 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Oh, wow. We were really
close, though, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That was a good story. Thank you.
No, I love that story. It's just it's so amazing, too, because it was the largest search in Maine history.
Yeah. And probably still is.
It still is. And not one of the hundreds of people out there did anything. Not in the sense that they weren't trying, but at no point did they find any trace of him.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He got out of that on his own entirely.
Oh,
and it's just it's so inspirational.
Yeah. The mind is a powerful thing. If I've learned anything from any survival stories, it's if you're in like that couple, you're in like that kind of trouble, all you have to do is keep hope.
Yeah. And that's what he said.
Yeah.
As long as, I keep my mind, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love too that this didn't deter him from being around nature and going out into the backcountry. Like he studied forestry.
Yeah. Like he understood that was like kind of like
his own mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just find that part so inspirational. And yeah. And like I said, just like my tie-in of also getting lost on that same mountain and just having that perspective of, man, it happens so easily.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So I thought that was an amazing story.
Yeah. No, I love that. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks and Sophia's going to tell us a story.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Who knows what it'll be about.
Better be good. Better be better than this one. That'd be tough to do though.
No, this one was so good. I think this is our best one yet.
You think so?
Yeah.
We'll let the listeners decide that. Well, folks, always remember,
The more footsteps,
the more folklore.
Okay, bye.
Bye.